Shalom. First, we want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Kadosh. We want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone and rule well. And Shalom to the elect out there pushing this truth. Yeah, just wanted to get into a quick topic. There's read an article about the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, who basically is throwing shade on Iran over there in Syria, and basically he's making certain comments. And one comment he made, you can find that in the scriptures, and we're gonna get into that. So I'll probably start off maybe with the article.
Alright, so this is what's been covered by the various news sources. One of the news sources being YNetNews.com, and it reads: Prime Minister Netanyahu, Iran has crossed the red line. Its tentacles of evil in Syria will be severed. Now I can continue on. I'll go straight to the point. Netanyahu continued: This is exactly what happened yesterday. Syrian military batteries fired surface-to-air missiles against us. Therefore, we attacked them. The international community needs to prevent the Iranian Quds force from establishing itself in Syria. We need to unite in order to cut off its spreading tentacles of evil, and there and everywhere. I repeat, whoever hurts us, we will hurt them sevenfold, and whoever is preparing to hurt us, we will act to hit them first. This is what we have done, and this is what we will continue to do.
Yeah, so it talks about sevenfold, and there's a lot of kind of like false flags going on, things that Israel said was happening, where it's not even like out there like that, whether it did happen or not, whether Iran did shoot certain things or not. And basically, America did the same thing with Pearl Harbor, to instigate certain things, because what they really want is they want war, they want all out war, and Israel, according to the scriptures, is going to be one of basically the starters of it getting to the point where there's going to be missiles, man, where people are going to have to start picking sides, because the US is going to have to back Israel, and Russia's going to have to back their interests, and that's going to boil up into the missiles in the World War III, man.
Of a precinct in it. Obadiah verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So more or less all these little alliances that you see going on, all these little, like NATO's and these international communities, basically people working together, all of that is going to come to an end, man. Because, you got this guy saying, well, if vengeance is taken, then, we'll revenge it sevenfold. Hey, that time period is basically coming to an end. Because this is that was a curse that was put on Cain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was more like, it was a curse that was put on Cain. But after he was sent out to wander, he was like, well, you might as well read it still.
Try, I'll get it. This is Genesis chapter 4. I'll read it from 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
Yeah, that's even why you've got these fucking so-called Jew rats in the land in the first place. These guys are a bunch of vagabonds, man. Mm-hmm. You go back through their history, these guys have been wandering around being grimy devils all over the show, man.
Yeah.
All over Europe. That's why it's then these guys worm their way into the land, our land, which they've nabbed, along with our identity. So these guys are still a bunch of fucking grimy vagabonds, man. Mm-hmm. That's why these guys, if they were shooting them, that's why they're shooting missiles, man. I want you the fuck out of there, man.
That's right. And they had the Khazarian Empire before, when they basically tried to convert to the ways of basically Jake, and they called it Judaism, and even then till now, it's like they're just basically trying to beat us, man. And the scriptures talk about them trying to impersonate us, because they're really just running away from who they really are, which is Esau. It says, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Yeah, and they still got that mark to this day. Well, obviously that bloodline died out, but you know when they came back as Esau. So that marks on these Edomites to this day. And you know, these net and asshole and these people are basically they're of that stock, man. So that's why it's like, yo, they've got that. It's like these so-called. The thing is like we're coming to the end. Esau's coming to the end of his power. It's like that's why you're hearing in the news some Edomites might go up in the jungle somewhere and just get dissected and chopped up, and their fucking body parts are getting found like all over the jungles, in the four corners. But so it's that all of that revenge being taken, that's coming to an end. But that's what these guys are kind of referencing to, man. But that's all that's done, man. I can continue in thing. It says what? I'll read it again. Obadiah verse 7 says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. So all these peace deals, all these, you know, working together, that's just going to come to an end. The Lord's going to have it where these guys, nukes get dropped on America, nukes are going to get dropped on the Middle East as well, man. You can have these guys that were former allies, just like, you know, fucking nuke them. That's the Lord's going to put the spirit, even if the spirit in on them to do that, he's going to have the angels put his work out, do the work for him, man, and make sure the missiles get shot. So you know, all that, you know, these guys are basically, they're trying to push this third world war, but hey, the Lord's basically that leads to their demise. You know,
I appreciate.
Yeah,
just really quick and to the point. It says Mark 3:26, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. And that's what brothers are going into, because like the two major powers being America and Russia that are going to come to the aid of their allies really are two, mostly for the most part, even though you've got Jacob in there, you've got other nations, for the most part they're predominantly Edomite nations. And so you've got these Edomite powers that are going to come up against each other and really try to obliterate each other. Really, if you go into Ezekiel 38, man, it's the prophecies, but ultimately speaking, you got Edomites fighting Edomites, man, thinking that really that you got Edomites that don't even know really not only their nationality but the fact that they're the same people, man. They're gonna come head to head, and in the midst of that, Yahweh Shai is gonna come through and deliver his elect, man. All of that what he said was a spiritual statement, man. Because Robert's been going into these Edomites are the seed of Cain coming back in the reincarnation. You don't even know that statement he made was mad spiritual, man. Hella spiritual.
Lord made him say that.
The Lord made him say that, you know.
Yeah. I've got a precept. This is Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, and the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And those Medes in that scripture is talking about Russia, and Babylon's talking about America, you know. So, hey, America's going to get missiled up, man, and get completely destroyed, you know. It's going to be an example, pretty much, for time, man, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, but even worse this time.
Yeah, we'll just read 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 6, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished, but the heavens and the earth which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Just on the point of what you, just the line back of what you said, and the scripture that you pulled out. Because honestly speaking, man, the prophecies are popping off. Like Apostle Regards is saying when he said the prophecies are popping off like popcorn. And it's true, man, because every other day there's always something going on. Always some sort of false flag or a terrorist attack or some sort of natural disaster, they call it, happening. Like we said, oh man, since we've been there, like I looked it up, there's been like a blaze run through Brussels. What's it called? I think there's been like another so-called terror-related attack somewhere in Europe. I'll have to look it up in a minute.
The one in France.
Yeah, I know. I think there was even a next thing that I looked. Yeah, a next thing that I looked up. Like there's a lot of shit going on, man. A lot of shit going on. We're living in the last days, bro. Trust me, you got the Israel making statements like this. You know, Scripture talks about in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, 15th verse, and one people rising up against another with swords in their hands. There was even an article that just came out now where it said that North Korea and South Korea talks have crumbled. Because you know they were trying to come together with that whole peace thing.
Yeah, there was something like that. I think Trump might have fucked. Trump's that wild card, man. You can just say shit. You can make some outlandish shit up, like okay, just like the fucking even the embassy in Jerusalem. That thing was like everyone's like terrible, blah blah blah. No, it's actually there. You can say oh Trump, blah blah. That's that. You can just do anything and just be like oh Trump, and these people will eat it. So that means that prophecy's passing under their nose. Like oh, but it's just Trump, blah blah. Yeah. Well, cool. That's it's just like it said in 2nd Ezra, man. She'll come as a thief in the night. Them guys are gonna be on the bed, sleeping, having pleasant dreams. Then they're gonna get wagged. Their brains is gonna be spraying up. There's gonna be modern art on the wall from their brain when the New World Order shoot up in the brain.
That's right.
Let me read this. Jeremiah 49:15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. If you know anyone, that's these so-called Jews. They're chief amongst them, man. They're the kings of that rock dwelling, man. They know all about that, man. Man can teach you that how to get comfortable on that crusty cave back, man. So that's these guys, man. It says that holdest the height of the hill, thou though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. Also Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, as thou hiss at all the plagues thereof. And you can see them plagues coming. That war that they've got on their doorstep, with Syria and Iran looking to fucking annihilate them guys. That's a plague as well, man. And it says, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong, and I will suddenly make him run away from her. For who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he will make their habitation desolate. And that least of the flock, that's this worm you got over here, this net and asshole. This guy is basically he's one of the chief among them, man, trying to draw them out, man. Because this guy basically his whole thing is he's basically he don't even want like Iran even thinking about a nuclear program. Like he's basically looking to wipe them out, get them wiped out, get a reasoning just to be able to blow their country off the face of the earth, and get away with it. Which is that's how the Lord's got it set up. Said what the least of the flock shall draw them out. Imagine that tiny little Israels they've got over there. That's going to be what basically turns the thing up into World War III.
This is Revelation chapter 2 verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And the word Satan means adversary. So these guys that are going over there saying that they're Jews, but they're not. They're actually the adversary of the Lord's chosen people, the Israelites, the real Jews in a sense, the Judites, and the other tribes. But these guys are saying that they're basically the Lord's chosen. And just even saying that the Lord's gonna has basically got a part for them to play in this coming destruction, man. They're gonna be the one that is gonna basically draw them out, man. Draw the rest of Edom's power structure into an all-out war so they can destroy themselves. Like you brought out earlier, if Satan be divided against Satan, how should his kingdom stand? So the Lord's actually making them implode. Before he turns on the scene, it turns up on the scene, man.
I got a quick piece of Isaiah 14:5. The Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people with a continual stroke, He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. And like going back about maybe 20 so years ago, no one really looked at the so-called white man like the evil man that he really is. Everyone thought that this so-called white man was the impersonation of justice, like justice personified. Like everyone was trying to have a so-called white friend. Everyone was trying to come to America or some England. You know, you might have been born in Ghana or Nigeria, and your parents were like the great white hope, just coming over to this country and getting that university degree, and you can do like whatever with it. But honest, now people are starting to realize that this place is just smoke and mirrors, man. And really and truly, there's nothing for you here. It's just total wickedness and oppression. Like,
I could add a little testimony. I was talking with like one security guard there where I work. Like Nige guy, he's older. He said he's studying law, and he said he's looking to open a practice. But he said he's looking to just do it back in Nigeria, man. He even looking, man's here getting an education. He's like, hey, it's too much money, even to study. You have to go through bare exams, bare what is it called, like smoke and mirrors just to get through. And then he said, go back to Nigeria, it's one exam, bang, you're making money. So it's basically all over here. The spirits jumped off this place, man. You can tell it's just like with Rome, man. There was a time, you go through the history of Rome, there was a time where, you know, the spirit just jumped off them. They were done, they were through. Jake started getting up in there. It was done, man. Just like with when Jake was ruling during the Dark Ages, man. They had their period of time. Then it was, you could see, because it's funny. It's like with, like I think with the Greek and the Romans, that's one of the most interesting ones. Because like Rome was really just there all the time. Then it was just like more and more of the wars. Rome started fucking up Greece.
Yeah.
Then they just kind of took over and became like the chief, like power in the region, man. So you know that's how the spirits go ahead. It's where it's like the Lord's got his men, the camps blowing up, and that is basically spiritually this place being done, man. Could you read what 2nd Ezra 6 says? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So from when we start grabbing on that hill and pulling down Esau's power, hey man, this place is through. It's toast, and you see it playing out, man. You see it play out from when the camps have come out. The level of prophecies you've seen going out has been epic, man. Since the time the apostles came on YouTube, the swiftness of the prophecies passing is absolutely phenomenal, man. So it's just like it's peak. You really know it's becoming a hot summer so far. Temperatures rising. You can see these things are going, man. So it's like, you know, if you got anyone out there dying, then they're having a laugh, man. You got something?
Got a piece of, yeah. 2 Corinthians 10:4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. And yeah, the reason I brought that out was because, like even going back a couple of years, Jake weren't aware of the fact that the so-called Jew today is not the real Jew. Like you had actual Jake that was zealous of the fact that they thought them man were really Judah. You actually had Jake out there riding for the so-called Jew. Like no, but them man are actually the true, like going hard for it. And now it was common knowledge that they're not the men of the Lord, man. They're not. That's not the King Davids and the King Solomons you're reading about in the scriptures. And then that all goes back through the Most High Yahweh Shai having mercy on us, man. Giving going down from high priests, our biblians, all the way down to our apostles, down onto us brothers. We're able to understand these things and then push, going hard. The Spirit's been on the apostles to push. Brothers to exhort brothers to do more with the truth. Now you can't get away from the videos. Everywhere you go, there's a video on something. You can type in the generic subjects on YouTube regarding all.
Video is gonna pop up. Man.
Can't man. Pulling down the strongholds because now even the Christians are getting body shots as well. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's getting body shots.
Shot.
Remember when the video, like the apostles did the video, must have been like what 2011 maybe, 2012, like the full breakdown on Islam. I'm like, bro, them Muslims ain't even trying to check for the cat. You got the odd ignorant fuck who thinks we're just some Christians. Yeah. But then it's like them guys are through, man. About some
truth concerning Islam.
Yeah, the pure truth concerning Islam, like about how much nonsense that shit is, man. But it's like, yo, everything like the apostles been bringing out on pretty much every topic under the sun, man. We've been getting blazed out, man. So it's beautiful. You can see, man. This word's living, and it's basically like no one can run from it, man. That's why you got like now you have the odd celebrity might drop a thing or two like that's everyone's been watching it, man. Everyone's just like you go on YouTube, it's like imagine we had the video at our camp like on getting 817,000 views, but then no one's meant to, and no one even knows what Hebrew is, man. Come on, man.
And then it just suddenly stopped.
Yeah,
It
froze,
just
man.
dead.
Man, dropped that into the sunken place, man. I'm gonna put the video on the sunken place of YouTube, bro. Trying to not think about that. But that's hey, man. But then imagine you had the attack over in YouTube getting shot up by someone whose video was getting like blacklisted and that. So that's like the Lord just like, just being like, whoa, okay. That family more they say, okay, we cannot allow the freedom of these videos. People are doing violent acts. That family of the word could come off that. You got something?
Psalms 19:3. There is no speech, no language where their voice is not heard. And like through the power of the internet, like, because really what we're doing now is spiritually these videos are like epistles. So we see like we see articles like this, and then we do these epistles up, which are in modern day form through these videos, pushing that out, exhorting brothers to watch, learn, do their own videos, and then like through that you have the truth being the fruition of the truth, man, just going out there. That's why like I read in the previous scripture, mighty through the pulling down of strongholds. That's why a lot of these, like all of these false doctrines have all been dissected. That's why we know without a shadow of a doubt that the Christian church is completely off. That's how you know without a shadow of a doubt World War III is happening, man. It's like he made a spiritual statement. He said sevenfold, and he was specific, man.
Yeah.
The Most High is working on his mind, man. You know what I mean? And there's examples of that. Nebuchadnezzar, you got
well, where he's a sorry.
Yeah, go.
He's a so-called Jew, right? So they've got the Torah over there and certain things.
Yeah.
So he might have heard the sevenfold before, but he's coming in the spirit of Cain.
He's coming in the spirit of Cain.
He's coming in his true spirit.
And things like this should really fortify your belief in the truth, because that, like, he could have said anything, but he come out with that. Like, that's how you know, man. Yeah. That's how you know. And it says, there's no speech, no language where their voice is not heard. Because through the power of the YouTube, you can quickly go up on YouTube and put some subtitles in whatever language you speak. There's no real excuse for not knowing what the truth is, man. That's why you can't really hide from the truth. The truth is out there.
Man, doing it all kind of languages
anyway,
for real.
Fine.
I got something. Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their calamity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Most High Power, I'll prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with slain men, and in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. And a lot of them guys, that's going to be from the World War III, man. Because that's going to be an epic, like a battle of epic proportions, man. Because a world war, you check out the numbers on these world wars, you start getting to the hundreds of the thousands of the millions, man. So people are getting absolutely wasted out there. And this is over a long process of time. So it's like, the Lord's gonna. The thing is the Lord don't even need the time this time, because it's just gonna be okay. Guys are gonna be getting wiped out. Then you're just gonna have to nuke them, fly out. Them nukes, the destruction level. You got guys getting wasted in seconds. Roasting, man's getting cooked on the bone. So that's, hey man, the Lord's gonna make it. It's gonna get nippy, man. It says. Okay, no. Verse 9. Oh my God. Verse 9, it says, I'll make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. And that's, imagine these guys now, they're possessing the land. Man's all up in there, able to say all this shit, call themselves Israel, because them men are up in the land. So like, yes, we are the Jews, we're in the land. Okay, well, Hey, the Lord says because of that, that's a big reason of why such absolute destruction and desolation is coming upon you guys, man. Because these guys had a big part in the slave trade as well, which is part of what put Jake in that annihilated state. And because now that they're all up in the land, they did their little plan, it worked out. They're up in the land, but hey, the Lord's plan's working against you, man. Hot and heavy, man.
Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And yeah, the destruction level in this World War III that we're going into is going to be like none other. Like the scripture talks about in Daniel 12 as well. You know, Michael, the great angel, Michael, meaning who was like the Most High. Michael Allah, yeah, who was like the Most High, man. Because the angels of the Lord, man, and Yahweh Shai leading them are going to return and destroy this place, man. Level it. That's why in Isaiah 66:15 it talks about the Lord returning with his chariots like when fire, like a whirlwind. Malachi, the first chapter, tells you that though Edom, the first chapter, the 4th verse, whereas Edom says that we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. They will build, but I will throw down. Should call them the border of wickedness. And we understand who the wicked is now, man. We know that without a shadow of a doubt, man, these Edomites are the devil that the Bible speaks of. And that's why they're making statements like this, number one, and that's why they're going to receive the judgment, man, because they fit perfectly into that spirit of Cain, you know.
That's right. Well, precept. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse, I'll start from 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And obviously that's not talking about normal arrows, because arrows can't be shot into the end of the world. That's talking about the ICBM missiles, okay, the intercontinental ballistic missiles. It says, behold, which are going to be used in the World War III, man, to completely basically nuke the shit out of Babylon first and foremost, and all the other parts of you know, the beast, man, and around the world. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. And I just got a preset on those plagues, so we understand, you know, just to back up what they are. This is Zechariah chapter 14 verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So they're going to get nuked, man. They're going to be flailing, their arms going to be flailing in that fire, you know. And a good movie you can see that on is Terminator 2. Judgment, I think it's Judgment Day it's called, I think. Terminator 2, where Sarah Connor's she gets the vision of the nuke, and she's hanging onto the railings, and then the nuke just wipes her away. You just see the skeleton, and she just basically just getting disintegrated, man. And that's what's gonna happen to these guys, including, you know, Benjamin not a Jew, man. They're all gonna get disintegrated. But the Lord's put it in their minds to actually bring forth this this World War III, because it's in prophecy, you know.
I'm trying to quickly find it, because there was an article that came out a little while ago of when Vladimir Putin met up with Netanyahu. I don't forget exactly where it was at, but basically the gist of it is that he basically had a meeting with him, and he basically warned him against any strikes against Syria, saying that things could get out of hand if he overstepped the boundaries. And then just from the body language itself, like the reporters were saying, like he could tell that there was tension between them, because Russia's gonna come to the aid of Syria, man. It tells you that in Ezekiel the 38th chapter, which the Most High is gonna have it to where inevitably there's gonna be World War III involving Russia and America, man. Because people thought that because Donald Trump got up in there, he was gonna have some good relationships with Putin, and everything was gonna get blessed out. But ultimately speaking, the prophecies were always going to speak, man, regardless of who's up in there. You know, is that what you got now?
I just got Ezekiel 38.
Yeah, that's
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
Obviously, Magog and Gog is talking about Russia today. Because although those are prophetic names, those were originally the land of Japheth, but you had Esau move up in there and move them out of the land. So when it speaks about the land of Magog and Gog now, it's talking about the landmass which is known today as modern day Russia.
And say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So the Lord is against Russia, okay, as well as against Babylon. So that's why he's using these two, powerful military nations, which are Edomite nations, to basically be the hammers of this World War III, man. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armour, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet. And so Persia's listed there, man. So one of the let's say vassals, or the allies of Russia is Iran, and that's one of the footholds in the Middle East, man. And that's why, Israel going back and forth with them, man, over there in the land of Syria.
I think I found.
I had a quick precept if you're still looking for it.
Yeah.
This is Revelation chapter 11 verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So World War II has already gone past, and the scriptures say World War III is coming quickly, man. So that was back in late 1940s, man. That World War II ended. So now we're quickly approaching that time of World War III. Now we're 2018, and you can see all this tensions building up all around the world.
Yeah.
And Russia's been put back into that same spirit they were in the Cold War.
Oh.
So it's just a matter of time, man. Just waiting for these prophecies, waiting for the mark of the beast to be put out there mandatory, man.
So I've got a statement. There's a few websites that cover it. This is just one of them. It's on YT News again. There's also on some of these other. It's on Bloomberg News, YT News. This particular page is DevCart, I believe it is. It's an Eastern European website. However, obviously the same story is covered across some of the Western articles, Western news outlets as well. Sorry. I'm just going to read the main point. The Kremlin later issued this version. So basically, they made a press release, and it said, "And upon an initiative of the Israeli side, a telephone conversation took place between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Syrian issue was discussed, including the recent missile strikes on the T4 airfield in Homs by the Israeli Air Force. Vladimir Putin stressed the fundamental importance of respecting the sovereignty of Syria and called for refraining from any actions that might further destabilize the situation in the country and pose a threat to its security." The Moscow readout did not reveal Netanyahu's reply, but basically, in short, he was talking some gangster shit. He said, "Yo, you need to stop. You need to hold back fire against Syria, or you might basically destabilize relationships between us, yourself, and really, the further party." He was basically saying, "Yo, you need to stop fucking with our boys, or really and truly, we're gonna have to step up in there and put things right." So you can see that these countries are these Edomites are ready to start getting popping, man. The Russians are basically saying, "Yo, you either put them weapons back down, you either put your holster up your weapons, or we're gonna have to get our shit out there and start, getting shit popping, really and truly." So we round the corner from it, man. We really round the corner from it.
Satan be divided against Satan.
The Satan be divided against Satan, man. Real talk.
Yeah, you can.
So, okay, Isaiah 34. Yeah, and verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain shall be cast up out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heaven shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down. So that's, where this is looking to escalate to, because basically what you're saying there, that's fighting talks. And the thing is Netanyahu ain't going to stop shit. The Lord's got his plan. He's going to have it go on where it's going to come to military contact, outright condemnations and military contacts. and man having to put boots on the ground and missile them and all that firing upon the ground, man. So that's gonna lead to that nuke, man. That's that heavens rolling together, man. That mushroom cloud, because that's the level of destruction it's gonna come to. It says, as the leaf falleth off the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse the judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So them lands of Edom, that's a mass death is coming, man. That's what the Lord's about. He's looking to, that sword's filled and ready, man. He's got them nukes ready. So this thing's ready to pop. All it needs to pass is the prophecies, man. Prophecies that are ready and waiting in the fire. They're loaded in a barrel, ready to fire, man. A mandatory chip. People already chipped out. People are chipping themselves. That mandatory chip's coming swift. Martial law is ready to pop at the drop of a hat. Man having false flags pop up left, right and centre. Non-stop. Easy to get that off, man. People are begging for it, basically, man. So, you know, this thing can go at the drop of a hat. That's why it's like, yo, you got to be keeping it up to date, man. Knowing what the fuck's going on out here, man. You know, you man got anything? Okay. Yeah, man. We close it there, man. Shalom. Yeah, but Shalom.